Cryptozoology is, by its very nature, elusive. Thus, we cannot say that we are exactly bringing you the facts, but we will do our best to help you see these mythical legends as we do. So sit back, relax, and wait. What's that behind you? Never mind. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to Cryptids on Cryptids. I'm Martin.
And I'm Nadia.
And what little guy are we talking about this week?
So today I'm hoping you can change my mind about this thing. And basically I chose him because he has a really cool name. So its name is the Beast of Bodmin Moor, which sounds cool as fuck.
Cool. Yeah. Anything with Moors is gonna be sick.
I think anything that's like the something of something, like if you have a place in your name, you're incredibly cool to me.
Yeah, like the Beast of Bray Road. That guy fucked. He was really cool.
Yeah, like I feel like that's. I never watched Game of Thrones, which is a red flag. But you know how it's like, what is it? Jon Snow of Winterfell? Was that it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but either way, they had like their like origin stories in their name, and that was cool. So I was like, the Beast of Bodmin Moor is gonna be cool.
Uh-huh.
And he's kind of let me down, but I'm so excited. I'm so excited. We can still go through with it. But I mean, the first red flag, his nickname is Bod, which is cute, but also like, oh yeah,
that sounds like an Australian person trying to say bud.
Bod.
Like, hey, bod. Body.
But like, imagine like you're about to die, right? You're in the woods, and then like the Beast of Bodmin Moor appears, and then like a local's like, "Oh no, that's just Bod."
You're like, "Oh no, the Beast of Bodmin Moor." It's like, "Hey, Bod, what's up, Bod?" It's not the same.
It was a bit of a letdown. It was a bit of a letdown, but I appreciate that it's cute. It brings that sort of first name nickname basis.
It's not even like Body. Like Body.
Like that would be a bit weird.
Cutesy little. Yeah, that's true, actually.
Hi, Body.
Hi, Body. That's what he says to you before he kills you.
And then Megan the Stallion just shows up, and like as he's killing you, it's Body by Megan the Stallion on the background. Body yada 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 yada. But he's also like tearing you limb from limb.
Dude, I feel like he could be TikTok famous. Like, that's a TikTok sound, right?
Yeah. Well, then, okay, so
like, imagine a guy just getting, like, ripped apart. Like...
Body creates a curvy way with big titties, little waist.
Just, like, get those little camera shakes in there, yeah.
The name would be The Beast of Bodmin Moor, but his TikTok name is Bod.
Yeah.
But if you're actually interested in, like, visualizing him...
Yeah, I'd like to. I need to know what to picture in the TikTok.
He was described as a phantom black cat the size of a puma. Which my response is...
So a puma.
So a fucking puma!
Yeah. So it's just a puma.
So if it's a big black cat that's the size of a puma, and a puma is a big black cat, I think we can deduce that it's a puma. Anyways, but it's also described as phantom, so I don't know what makes it phantom. Other descriptions of it was that it was a large cat-like creature with sharp teeth and white-yellow eyes, which is pretty scary. Like, if I saw that in the wild, I would be frightened. But
yeah, if I saw a puma or a panther in the wild, I'd be like, yeah, that's spooky. That's scary. I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah, you don't have to call it the Beast of Bodmin Moor for it to be frightening for me.
Yeah, it's just like there's a fucking puma in the woods over there. Okay, is it in a place where pumas are?
See, that's the thing. This is why I think it's a cryptid. Because I was like, okay, it's a puma. But there aren't large predators in England.
Oh, it's in England.
Yeah. So it's in the moors of Cornwall.
Wait, is this a British big cat?
He's a British big cat.
Oh my god.
I don't know why. What is a British big cat? A
Okay,
BBC?
so yeah, the BBC, British Big Cats is a multimedia. No. Anyway, British Big Cats are just like they're big cats in Britain. That's it.
Is that like? I know that's a cryptid you guys did, didn't you? Did you already?
Yeah, there's a lot of different like big cat sightings in Britain. Enough for there to be a whole podcast episode about it.
Is it like special? What makes them special? What makes it like a British big cat? It's just a big cat in Britain.
Yeah, it's just like yeah, a like ghostly lion seen in Britain. And most people are just like that's just a lion, bruh.
Yeah. And they're like, no, it's special because it's English. And the sun never sets on the English Empire. And what if we tried all your spices and then didn't like them and colonized you anyways?
I think they did like the spices. It's just
No.
like they
If
didn't use them.
yeah,
They just hoarded them.
if they'd liked them, they should have put them in their fish and chips.
Okay, to be fair though, like New England fish and chips are really good.
I've never had them. I've never been to New England.
You have been to New England. You
What?
went on a trip. Our families literally went on a trip together to Maine. You
That's not
have
in New
been to New
England.
England.
That's East
Yes,
Coast.
Maine is New England. I'm sorry to break it to you.
I thought New England was just New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
That whole area, it's like Vermont, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, Rhode Island. That's all New England.
I get okay. I, as I've mentioned before, I do believe I'm one of God's favorites, but
Okay.
I think we all have to have flaws. I couldn't be perfect in every way. So one of my flaws, other than technology, is that I'm very bad at geography. So I actually learned a couple days ago that New England isn't in the Midwest. And I guess that makes sense if Maine is part of New England. Your face is judgmental.
It's not. What? New England is in the Midwest?
Yeah, because I was like, New Hampshire is like close.
Did did they never like New Hampshire is not close?
Wait, map of the US.
Did you like miss the day in geography where they were like these are the sections of the US and they were like New England's up here.
Where the
Then
fuck?
there's like the
Oh my
southeast.
god! Massachusetts is really far from here. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I thought it was like in Virginia. I thought like where Virginia is where New Hampshire is. And
New
Massachusetts.
Hampshire is next to Vermont.
My friend lives in Massachusetts, and I completely thought that she lived
It's like right
Midwest.
here.
Yeah, so I thought it was like I pictured Massachusetts in like Virginia area. That's why I thought it was Midwest. I had no idea it was right next to Maine.
Yeah. Yeah. We I drive through Massachusetts on my way to Maine.
I drive to Massachusetts on my way to Maine. Sorry. Um, actually, yeah.
And if you're wondering, so you know that I was in Vermont and I've told you a bit about Vermont. New Hampshire is like an evil upside down fucked up Vermont.
I almost went to school in New Hampshire. That was my other choice. Um,
Yeah. You
and
should
yet,
have. You would have been like an hour away.
I apparently still don't know where it is, even though I knew it was 12 hours. Actually, now that I think about it,
Yeah.
I should have made that connection.
Yeah.
I did learn geography. I learned the names of the states and their capitals, but I don't think I ever pieced it together where they are. Or once I did, I completely lost the information.
I think that this is like totally fine because I'm also bad at geography. I know US geography as long as I've been there. I like understand where it is,
Didn't
you
you say
know?
like we have English like British listeners, they're gonna be like, "This is the most American conversation," because we're like
Look, British
notoriously
people
bad.
also don't know about U.S. geography. That's fine.
I know, but
I don't think anyone knows
they
about
they
U.S.
know
geography.
they know European geography. They know like the geography around them.
I know where England is,
I do too.
generally.
I actually know. I think I know European geography better than I know the U.S.
Wow.
Anyways, this has nothing to do with British Moors and the beast.
Okay, can you tell me what is a moor?
A Moor. Oh, I actually looked this up. I got prepared and stuff. So, a moor is an uncultivated area covered with low-growing vegetation, which is often high but poorly drained. So basically, all those words mean it's like kind of like a field with like more vegetation. Like they're actually really beautiful if you look them up.
Oh, so they're like my impression of a moor was it was a little bit swampy, you know?
Yeah,
Like it's wet.
uh, I mean the Kelpie couldn't live there, but like you'd be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Like
it's not a
it's damp.
lake, but
It's damp. It's
it is damp.
it's
Yeah.
poorly drained. But yeah, since it's in England, it's in Cornwall, England. And
Oh, Cornwall.
there aren't large predators in England. And my comment here was other than white people and priests.
Oh my oh my god. Which there are a lot of those.
There's some that are both. There are multiple that are both. I'm sorry. I don't think I need to
Oh my
extrapolate
god.
on that, but I'm sorry if I offended anyone. But also not really. But either way, because of that, the presence of a puma or a panther would be like really weird. So that's also why it's a cryptid, because it's like, what the fuck is a puma doing?
Yeah.
Like, if you were in Costco and there was a puma, like, it would be weird.
I would be like, what the fuck? Pumas don't belong here.
Yeah. Um, and so in this area, which is Bodmin Moor, which is not that big of an area, there have been like over 200 reported sightings, which is like a lot
Yeah.
since 1983. So this is kind of recent. And in the late 1990s, a small boy found a gigantic cat skull on the banks of a river. So like,
Whoa.
so like, it's weird that there are these big cats in England. But the Natural History
Yeah.
Museum confirmed it to be a leopard, which was imported. So that wasn't odd. But if there are other big cats, Bod must be around.
Bod must be around. I mean, I kind of like we talked about this on the British Big Cats episode, but I think that it's really plausible for big cats to be in England because there were a lot of like a long time ago, a lot of people like lords and stuff would have big cats like lions and panthers and shit like that imported into there and just like kept them in their castles.
Yeah.
And it's not like they were, you know, neutering or spaying any of these animals. They just had them. And when the castles inevitably got sacked or the lords died or whatever, and they didn't want them anymore, they would just let them free.
I
They
mean,
just let them go.
that's definitely the responsible thing to do. You know, when you have a predator, just let it go for the
Yeah.
better of the community.
Yeah, I mean, I went to London and I was like touring and we had this like tour guide and I asked them because I knew that they had like kept animals and we were seeing the room where like the animals were kept. Like they were like, "Oh yeah, they kept lions in here." And I was like, "What do they do with the lions?" And they were like, "Well, the castle got sacked, so they just kind of let the lions go."
But what were they doing with the lions beforehand?
Just looking at them.
Just, hey.
Yeah, feeding scraps of meat, guys maybe. I don't know. They're like cool. It's like a cool animal and
I
you want to
know,
have
but
it.
like, do you? I don't. I don't need to have one. I have a pretty big cat, like already. I think he could be a cryptid. Um, he's.
I agree.
I think when he stretches out, he's like 3 feet long. Um,
Wow.
and he's really muscular. His his butt. This is really weird, but like when he loafs, his butt is like super. Like he's ripped for a cat. Um, so I understand having a big cat, but like I don't need multiple lions. I feel like that's a stretch.
Well, I mean, if you're having parties all the time and like people want to see cool shit when they come to your house
That's
because
true.
you're the richest person, then
So you're justifying having lions.
yeah, I mean, if you're like the richest person and you've have parties, I guess, and people are like, I don't know, I've seen all the normal shit at their house. Maybe you bring in a lion. That's crazy.
Or you could just be Carol Baskins or the Tiger King, which I actually never watched. And I guess, yeah, then you get really popular if you have a bunch of big cats.
I mean, yeah, like let's like we could definitely talk about like, you know, some of these big cat sightings are when things escape from zoos or, you know, animals are brought in illegally.
See, maybe this is my fault for not doing more research on British big cats because I was fascinated by this topic. The idea that so one of the explanations for the beast of what is it called? Bodmin Moor. I forgot the name.
Bodmin Moor.
Is that a circus entertainer called Mary Chipperfield claimed she let 3 pumas free after her zoo closed down in 1978. That was wild to me. Like, you just have pumas and you're like, okay, bye.
That
Like,
is like a uniquely British thing, though. Is like I'm just gonna let these big cats go.
I mean, a reason for that was that the Dangerous and Wild Animals Act was passed in the 1970s, and which made it more difficult to own these big cats. And then the release of exotic species weren't illegal until 1981, maybe after Mary fucking said, "Go, pumas, live your little life." So I guess there were no repercussions to this, and this was like the 80s. Like this was the 1800s. This was the fucking 80s.
Yeah, I mean that explains why 200 sightings starting in 19. What did you say? 1930 or 1980?
The 1980s.
Yeah,
But I still believe that this can be a special cryptid. Why? Because this is one cat. You know, it's been cited as one black cat that's in Bodmin Moor. So maybe one of these pumas escaped, or one of another cat escaped, or it breeded with a ghost, and that's why it's a phantom cat.
it breeded with a ghost. It didn't die and become a ghost cat.
That
Bod
didn't
is
even.
too powerful.
He has a nice bod, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
That didn't even occur to me that he could die and become a ghost. I was like, no, to have a ghost
that's how
cat.
ghosts happen. What?
It's like to have a ghost cat, you have to fuck a ghost. And then have a cat child.
Yeah. You actually don't become a ghost when you die unless you fucked a ghost while you were alive. That's just how it is.
I thought that my whole life. So honestly, when I watch like scary movies or like when people go to haunted houses, I'm like, yeah, they're there to fuck. Like that's the equipment they have.
And they're to fuck a ghost.
I
And that's
think
how you become a ghost when you die, is you have to do it while you're alive.
I'm gonna go to like a haunted house and instead of like an EMF reader and like a Ouija board or whatever, I'm gonna have like sex toys, whips, like
You're gonna
lingerie.
bring a ghost strap on. This thing's got the EMF built in.
Um, and yeah, let it feel my electromotive force, if you know what I mean.
Oh my god.
I was studying about EMF today in physics, so I can make that little joke. Um,
Oh wow.
but yeah, I
Did you
guess
ask about ghosts?
I I didn't because it's like a
Why?
500. There's like 500 people in my class. I'm not gonna like raise my hand and be like, so you know when you're trying to become a ghost, so you're fucking one. Um, why do you need the EMF reader? I feel like that wouldn't be an appropriate question.
Yeah, why do people think? I don't know why people think it interacts with ghosts. I don't know if it does or why it.
Because it's like an energy that's going. So an electromotive force, if I am correct, which I might not be because I'm not doing that great in physics at the moment, it's
Oh no.
actually I'm doing fine. But I don't understand what the fuck is going on right now though. But if it's like it's changing some sort of energy into electric energy. So the idea is that if there is a ghost, the energy from the ghost can be translated into electric energy. Not electric, yeah, electric energy into voltage to show us that there's some sort of presence.
Okay.
Because otherwise, you just have your strap on trying to penetrate the air.
If ghosts can generate electric energy, why aren't we using them as like coal?
I completely followed where you were going with that. I'm like,
Yeah.
you think nuclear energy is our future? Ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of people on Earth, you know, and if we just like when they die, we put them in a generator. You know?
Um,
Put a little generator ghost.
I feel like that's very American of you. Like, that's very capitalist. Like, how can we use ghosts for profit?
It's not for profit, it's for renewable energy.
I mean, it's gonna end up being for profit. We
That's
need
fair.
energy for
And then you might see companies doing brutal murders to people
Oh my
to
god, yeah.
get ghosts. Hold on, I'm copyright. This is a cool story.
Patenting this right now. We're gonna start the
Yeah,
first.
TM TM TM.
This is gonna be the first ghost sweatshop. And we're gonna just have
Is
them work with
electricity
us.
just ghost sweat?
In general, all electricity is ghost sweat. Yes, I think that's
Yeah.
100% true. um, yeah, because you could just. I don't know what you would have to do. Is it just they would have to be there, or I mean, if you play Phasmophobia, when they're doing something, the EMF rises. So therefore, we would have to have them like throwing shit, or I don't know, just running in place. So we're making people work even when they're dead. That's America. When will the
That's
ghosts
America.
unionize?
Would you pay ghosts? Or would you like pay it to their families?
How would we force them to do this? Wouldn't they
Well,
kill
I
us?
figure like ghosts are just like entities, right? Like they're not like
Wow.
okay.
You don't
You
even
ever
see
watched
them as
Lockwood and
people.
Co?
No, I didn't.
You ever watched Lockwood? Okay, it's a TV show now, but it was a book series.
Okay.
Anyway, these ghosts, there's like three different types of ghosts based on how they like come back. So there's like type 1 ghosts which just like do the same shit over and over. So like I feel like you could use a type 1 ghost for electricity
Yeah,
cuz it doesn't have
but
like a
not that
consciousness.
much.
It's just doing yeah. And then like a type 2 ghost is like usually a little bit more powerful and can like act on its surroundings a little bit,
Okay.
but still doesn't have a consciousness. A type 3 ghost does have a consciousness and it can like talk.
See, your sweatshop isn't going to be as great as my company because you're going to be using the type 1 ghosts because it's easier. And I'm going to convince through my seduction, and I'm going to have more ghost babies. Um,
Through your seduction.
by using the type 3 ghosts. And so then we'll be partners in this. And like they can unionize. I'll give them a wage. I don't know what I'll pay them with or what they would want.
All right, we've talked a lot about ghost fucking and ghost trapping and ghost electricity.
Where were we? What type of.
Well, let's talk about like sightings.
Yeah. Well, I told you this, that the 1990s, a small boy found a gigantic cat skull, so I don't know why you highlighted that. But there's also been, like, mutilated livestock. That was, like, a big
Okay,
thing. That's why a lot of people were like, there's, like, some sort of fucking creature out there killing my sheep. Um,
because it's not like there's wolves in England anymore. They kind of killed them all. So, I mean, what could be big enough to kill a sheep?
yeah, and
You know
then
what I mean?
nobody's, like, seeing it. And then there's
Yeah.
blurry photos and videos of the bot, which I'm very curious about. Like, I saw some, I don't know if they're Photoshopped, but I guess this is the 80s, so I don't think you could Photoshop back then. But it
Mhm.
just looks like a big black cat. Like, it's creepy, but it's a big black cat. Um, and there's even a video from 1998 of this thing. Oh, and large paw prints were found. So the idea that this is real is quite possible.
Yeah.
which would make it not
I
a
enjoy the
cryptid.
idea of a. Well, I mean, cryptids. It's kind of like in the gray area of if it is it real.
But
You know.
and there is possibility that it isn't, in which case maybe it is a ghost, because in 1995, the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Food, that sounds like something from Harry Potter. The Ministry of Magic and Agriculture. Um, there was basically the government literally conducted an investigation into the possibility that large exotic cats were killing livestock on Bodmin Moor in Cornwall. So there was an investigation into the beast of Bodmin Moor in particular.
Wow. You got the CIA after him.
So there were two consultants, Simon Baker, who was a mammal biologist, and Charlie Wilson, a zoologist, but no ghost person, whatever they're called, Ghostbusters. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and they were dispatched to Bodmin Moor with a budget of £8,000.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, like what were they? My question was, what were they doing with all that money? Because they found no evidence. And the thing is, there's all these photos, there's all these like videos, there's paw prints, somebody found a skull in Bodmin Moor, which isn't a big place, and yet they found no evidence.
Hmm.
So some thought it might be a cover up by the government, which I don't know. I'm inclined to believe.
Maybe they found like ghosts. Like they found a ghost cat, and they were like, "Hey, you're a biologist," and he was like, "I'm not a ghost biologist."
This is above my pay
Um.
grade.
Yeah. Or below his pay grade. I don't know where ghosts rank.
My my idea is that yeah, that's a good point because if they're just dead animals, I mean, but it's still an animal, even if it's dead. But my idea, I don't think it's a cover up. I think because it's a ghost and it likes Bodmin Moor, right? It resides there. My theory, Nadia's theory, is that it's only visible to the locals of Bodmin Moor because they call him Bod, like they have a good vibe going. And so he doesn't want to show himself to other people, but he also eats their livestock.
He does want to eat their livestock.
But he hasn't killed anyone.
He hasn't killed any people. Oh,
So,
okay.
so maybe he's protecting Bodmin Moor, and as a payment, they're giving
Whoa.
him sheep, or maybe he's
Yeah,
just
he's like
taking
an
them.
old god.
Oh my god, yeah,
He's like a remnant god of like Bodmin Moor,
yeah. Maybe
you
Bodmin
know?
Moor is God, not Bodmin Moor, the beast of Bodmin Moor.
Well, I always love those ideas of like the like small localized gods that like have their like very specific altar or whatever,
Yeah, something
and
about that
like
is really cute. Like the idea that they
the
like this
more
place
power
so
they have
much.
is based on how many people believe in them, you know?
Yeah, there's an anime like that.
Yeah,
What was it called?
I think it's
Noragami.
cool.
Did you ever watch that anime?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I'm not a weeb.
okay. I'm sorry. You just do a podcast about cryptids. So much cooler.
Yeah, I'm a nerd. That's different.
um, yeah, so maybe it's like the god of Bodmin Moor, and it's like watching over them. Um,
Yeah.
I think calling it a beast is a bit mean, but it is eating their sheep.
Well, it is bestial, you know. It's got the claws, the cat face.
Another reason why they thought it's not a real animal is because scientists argue that Bodmin Moor, because it's a moor, isn't suitable for big cats because like lack of food supply and the climate isn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, ghost cat. Therefore, god cat.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely like places in England where it's more temperate. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit more chill there. Even in the winters are like a little bit more mild than here in the US.
How do you know so much about England?
I've been there.
Okay, I've been there too. I don't know about its climate.
Well, you didn't ask. You weren't like, what's the climate like here,
Well, I mean, they said it
buddy
rains.
boy? Yeah, it does rain.
I feel like that's the consensus.
Yeah, rain. The consistency, consent. I can't. I'm not even gonna try that word again.
The consensus is that it rains.
Yeah, it do rain.
What were you saying
But
about the
yeah, I was
climate?
there in like the middle of winter, and the coldest it got was like 46 degrees.
I was there over the summer, and it was actually a really sunny couple days, and like I don't think it rained while I was there. So maybe they're lying to us.
Maybe. I mean, it did rain a lot when I was there.
Oh, well, my experiences are the only ones that matter.
Those are the only ones you can prove are real.
Yeah. Um, so my idea is that we have to go to Bodmin Moor and hunt a puma.
Yeah.
The other thing is how long, let me look it up. How long do pumas live? How long does a puma live? Because if it like was there since what, the 1970s. Oh my god, so maybe it did
Interesting.
start as a puma and then it died and it just stayed as like a guardian deity.
A guardian ghost. Dude, how do I get a guardian ghost?
I think I told you how you get a ghost. If you're too scared to birth a ghost, that's on you.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair.
I think to get a guardian deity, they must have like, or else maybe the people of Bodmin Moor have really tasty sheep.
That's true. Maybe it's the quality of the sheep of Cornwall.
If you know what I mean, sometimes you just gotta have a tasty sheep to get a ghost to, you know, like you.
Yeah.
Did I go too far? Or like, and never mind, I won't make that joke. There's sometimes I
I
have to
mean,
hold myself back. I have to hold myself back. Um, I've only been on this podcast for 2 episodes. I can't show all my true colors.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, save some for later, you know.
Uh, um,
Like episode 34 or whatever that you do on this show. You can get real wild with it. People won't care anymore.
there's just one episode I'm gonna go full on disgusting and violent. You know, so my true self. Um,
Yeah.
Another interesting thing, well, the only thing that bothered me about this is that it doesn't really have any, like most cryptids have special powers.
Hmm.
Like the Kelpie can stick things, werewolves can turn into werewolves. It's like their thing.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Vampires suck blood. So like they have special traits. Like they're not just animals. But the thing is, all I could find about the Beast of Bodmin Moor is that it eats animals and like vibes.
Well, I mean, the longer that you do this show, the more that you're gonna realize a lot of these creatures are just that. They're just like fucked up weird creatures.
I mean, nothing
Like
about it is fucked up.
some of the well, I mean it lives in England.
Jesus Christ! I'm sorry, our British counterpart. I know you guys have socialized healthcare and gun laws, but we have America.
Yeah. So I like the theory that it's a ghost cat. I think that's cool. So what does that mean for the over under on me fighting this cryptid?
Oh, well, I was gonna make it harder for you. I don't know why I thought you could fuck a ghost, but not kill it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess if you could fuck a ghost, it would have to be. I'm so sorry for my language, but I can't think of another word. Penetrable. Um,
And that's the word you apologize for. Not fuck.
no, because like penetrable has more of a visual attached to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Mm. My face is like red in the Zoom. I can see it. Not Zoom. We're using Discord. Um, that would be really sad if we did this over Zoom. Um, what was the question?
Um the question was could I kill it
Well, if it's
or fight
penetrable,
it?
then I think you could. It must be at some point to eat animals. It must at some point be in the plane of existence. Like it must be physical for at least a little bit. So therefore, I think
Yeah.
if it can eat and digest an animal, because it leaves the animals mutilated, like it was really destroyed and eaten, it must be going somewhere. Like it's not just like going through the ghost. Um,
Well, maybe it's eating the sheep's soul and destroying the body in the process.
but
Or like the sheep's ghost.
how would it destroy the body without being physical at some point?
Well, I mean, like, I feel like. Well, I feel like, if you're destroying, like, I don't know, in my own mind, a ghost is like a soul detached from a body. If you're eating the soul of another creature, it would destroy its body, you know?
I don't think so. I think
Because
if
they're
you ate
still
my soul,
attached.
so you're saying it destroys the soul and that mutilates the body?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
because they're still attached.
I think if someone loses their soul, they're just like dead.
Mm.
Like they're just a husk, right? So I think it needs to be physical, and this is good for you. If at some point
Yeah, it's good for me.
it has to be in the physical plane of existence, then at that point you could kill it.
Okay.
You could penetrate it with like a knife.
And you really wanted to bring back penetrate.
I felt I should. I felt it was fair.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, on an even playing field, like I should just have a knife.
But
Because,
the thing
like, a
is,
cat just has knives.
yeah, his claws.
Claws are knives, pretty much.
If any of you were cat owners, you know that like having my cat on my lap is like brings me such joy and such pain. Like he just digs those claws like right into my thigh or like any sort of exposed skin. Like if I have my ankle exposed, like oh, that's where I'm gonna get scratched. And he doesn't do it on purpose, but they just have knives for hands.
They do. It's like Freddy Krueger.
What?
Is that too dated of a reference for you?
I feel like it shouldn't be. I just don't know things.
Sometimes I forget you're 20.
Oh, Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh, yeah, I've never
Yeah.
seen it, but I do know
Yeah.
of Edward Scissorhands. Scissorhands.
Edward Scissorhands. Yeah, that might have been a little bit more apt for you.
When did
Even
it?
though I think Edward Scissorhands did Edward, which came out first, actually.
I'm looking it up. I've seen the one with Johnny Depp, but The Nightmare on Elm Street was 1984, so similar to The Beast.
Oh, interesting.
Um, but I think why would you kill it if it's protecting the people of Bodmin Moor? Do you really care about sheep that much that you would want to fight the ghost?
Yeah, I don't really care about sheep. I mean, I just want to fight the cryptid to just prove my, like, the origin story of how I accidentally created a cryptid or became a
Yes.
cryptid myself. So it's just like, to prove myself as a more dominant cryptid is why I feel the need to fight every other cryptid.
Oh, I see. So it's like a tournament.
Yeah, it's like a tournament.
So what happens if you
But
lose?
then I'm just the worst cryptid, I guess.
Or is it like a territorial thing? So if you fight and beat the Beast of Bodmin Moor, you get Bodmin Moor as
Yeah,
your
like a
domain.
monopoly property. Any other cryptid that passes through there has to pay a tax to me.
So we're capitalizing cryptid domains.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important for us to mention where they're from, so that we can just get the map, all of it.
Yeah, eventually I'll own everything.
I won't know where it is that you own because I can't find any of these places. But but the thing is, you also, I guess it's good. You can fight it, but since presumably it's a ghost, you can't kill it. But you
I'm
can make more
actually,
ghosts.
it's a cat, and I want to pet it.
That's fair.
Do you think it would let me pet it?
I would pet it.
Do you think if I brought it like fish, it would let me tame it like Minecraft?
No. I don't think it would let you. I think it would let me, though.
Oh, okay. I mean, you've got the like cat lady energy.
Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I do. I think that would be so funny if I brought we go to England and I don't go to fight him. You can fight him, but I just bring him home.
You just bring him fish.
Yeah, I tame him, get him some treats, some wet food and dry food, and I bring him home. And then I have the Beast of Bodmin Moor. Bod for short is what I'll write in the vet.
um, so I think we should wrap this thing up pretty soon, but I wanted to talk about the last thing that you have on here, which is a movie.
Yeah. There was a movie, I believe, released in 2022, which is really, you know, what is it called? Good
Yeah,
timing, which is really, it's funny.
recent.
Yeah. So I didn't have time to watch the entire movie because I found this out when I was researching this morning. I mean, all week. Um, but
Yeah,
I watched the trailer. It was very underwhelming.
the trailer was so boring. Like you
Yeah.
sent me the trailer to watch, and like I was like, oh, maybe this is like something we could poke fun at. Maybe we could, but it's just like so
Nothing
bland.
happens. It like
Nothing
keeps
happened.
it keeps like referring to things happening and people being angry about them, but nothing happens.
One thing I will say is when I was watching it, the actors seem so disinterested in making this
Yeah.
movie.
It was so the thing no, the other weird thing about it, now that I think about it, we've been talking about this beast in the context of like the 70s and 80s. That was not filmed like that was a period
Yeah,
piece.
it
Like
was a period piece.
they had top hats. It was like Bridgerton but sad.
They should have made an 80s version of it.
That would be funny. Like disco. I don't know what they did in the 80s. Wore bad clothes. Um,
Well, I know what they did in the US in the 80s, but I feel like I don't know what was going on in England in the 80s.
yeah, apparently the Beast of Bodmin Moor.
Yeah, and the Beatles.
Yeah. So what's his face? Ringo and Bod.
Yeah, Ringo and Bod. Bod was actually the original drummer for.
Um. Also, the movie got like an IMDb rating of 3.3 out of 10. So do with that what you will. I still don't understand why it's filmed in like the 1800s.
I don't know.
But I am interested in watching it. Maybe we should watch it and then post something about it. But I'm more interested in a why is this film so late? Not in a very much I want to see this movie that does not look like anything happens.
Yeah, it looks like a very boring movie, but I'm curious what it actually like why did you make it?
It's so niche. Like that is so well, why would you make a movie about it? Not that I don't respect this deity, but I think there's not that much known about him.
Yeah, I mean it's a British big cat,
I mean, maybe
you
in
know.
England, like maybe if you go to Cornwall, um, they know
Yeah,
more
people are
about him.
just busting up about this cat in Cornwall.
They really think he's busted. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Watch the trailer.
There's one thing that really got me about the trailer, and that was that there's this like scene of him looking. It's like a really blue scene of this guy looking down, and then he looks up at the camera, and they used it 3 times in the trailer.
I did not
This
notice that.
one scene,
The thing I
I
noticed
was like, I've seen this.
The thing I noticed is that there was one like side character, the policeman or something, that introduced himself. I don't remember what his name was, but he introduced himself in like the James Bond way, like last name and then first name, last name. Like I don't remember what his name was, Charlie Smith or something. He was like Smith, Charlie Smith, and it's like, am I supposed to know who you are? But to be fair, we're judging it based on the trailer, and this obviously does not look like a very high financed production.
Yes, it's like a C-list movie. The audio is all over the place, even in the like trailer. It's like they didn't do any audio balancing at all. half of it sounds like it's filmed on a modern, like really nice microphone. The rest of it sounds like they just filmed on location in the room. Like you can still hear the background noise and everything. It's just weird.
To be fair, I apologize to anybody who was trying to listen to me in the last episode because I sounded like the Kelpie got me.
Yeah, the Kelpie did get you.
But that's because Marty knows that it doesn't really matter what I'm saying. Just know that my presence is here.
It's the energy you bring.
Have you seen? I don't know if any of you guys have seen the dub of an anime called Ghost Stories. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Please look it up after this. It is the most ridiculous, chaotic, inappropriate dub. Like the actual show like flopped or something, but it was like serious and there was like a bunch of kids ghost hunting. But the actual dub, like, is the most ridiculous thing ever. And whenever like the young kid speaks, like he actually has lines of dialogue in the sub, but in the dub it's just like gibberish. He's just like screaming. And that's how I felt. Like listening to that first episode. I was like, oh, Nadia's there.
All right. Well, I think it's time to wrap up the episode on the Beast of Bodmin Moor.
I enjoyed you,
Um,
Bod. I'll miss you.
yeah. Bye, Bod. See you in the next one. Probably not though.
We'll remember you always, though, as he protects Bodmin Moor.
Yeah. So we got some housekeeping to do. Um, if you want to find updates on the show, you can find us at On Cryptids on Twitter or at Midpoint Podcasts on Instagram. And that is MYD period podcasts on Instagram. If you want even more content than that, you can find me at Martist on Fire on YouTube. And you can find Nadia at underscore Nadia, but with two D's on Instagram.
Nadida.
Nadida.
Like Ladida, the Nadida? I thought it was clever.
Oh, yeah. No, I got that.
I just
Oh,
got a
you also
Twitter,
made a
guys.
Twitter recently.
Yeah.
You did make a Twitter. Is it the same
Yeah, I
thing?
think so. It's underscore Nadida. I don't know how to use it yet. I've only followed the Uncrypted's Twitter. So please go say something. Teach me how to use Twitter. I look forward to reading all of your great replies that I actually cannot figure out how to read right now.
You'll get there.
I'll get there.
Yeah, so right now, um, I am selling a line of digital art prints on my store at
Woo!
martistonfire.com. Yeah, thanks for the woo.
Woo!
They're pretty good. I just released a sea monster print, which I really enjoy. And if you like sea monsters, I think you'll like this print as well.
You know I love Nessie.
And we will put, of course, links to all of this in the description below. Thank you all so much for listening, and until next time,
We'll
we'll see
see you
y'all
in
in
the
the
woods.
woods.